So if you guys are single, right? If you're single and you're caring too much about whether or not she likes you, here, let me try that again. If you're single and you're caring too much on whether or not she likes you, it might make you feel or come off as needy or desperate. But if you're in a relationship and you stop caring, you can destroy the relationship as well, right? So, how can indifference be both attractive and destructive at the same time? Now, well, it all depends on the different stages of relationship that you're in. Now, if you're new here, my name is Mitchell. I'm a relationship coach. And in today's live, I'll be talking about the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. So, I have 4 slides I'll be talking about today. The first 2 is going to be about when you are single, and the other 2 is going to be when you're in a relationship or in a long-term relationship. So anyways, the first one is going to be when you are single, stop being emotionally dependent on her. Okay? It means hold your ground. Hold your ground. Now, the healthy version of indifference is not, I don't care about women. Okay? It is not that at all. A lot of guys, they would try to say things like, oh yeah, just pretend you don't care, be an asshole. Just don't care. Just go extreme and just don't care about, like, that's not love at all. Okay? You got to find a common ground. Somewhere in the middle. And it's where this is at. It's I care, but I don't need a particular woman to make me feel validated. So I don't need her to like me in order for me to feel good about myself. Now, a lot of men, they become needy because they're emotionally invested in a woman before she has earned that investment, meaning that he gives all all his attention to her. He will drop anything if she just gives him a call, right? Happened to me before too. It was not good. I called out sick when I had to go to work. We were hanging out and I was like, yeah, I don't want to leave. So then I called my boss before. This is like early on. And yeah, it was just bad. It just made me look desperate to want to hang out and stay. Anyways, it looked needy. It felt desperate. It didn't feel right. I did it anyways. Oh well, people make mistakes. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like a lot of men, they become very needy before before she is emotionally invested into him. And so things like she takes a long time to text back, hours to text back. And you're stuck on your phone checking to see whether or not she texts you every 5 minutes. Right? Now, she doesn't respond and he's wondering like, well, did I say something wrong? Should I text her? Should I double text? Or why doesn't she like me? Now, this is where things could go wrong because she's become the center of his emotional world. Now, let's flip the script. This is where being indifferent becomes attractive. And it's not because you're playing games with her. It's because you're having your own life. So you can genuinely say like, I love for this woman to like me, but if she doesn't, I'm going to be okay. And so what that kind of conveys is that you have abundance, that you're like, oh well, if she doesn't like me, she doesn't like me. It's all good. On to the next. So you're interested without being attached to the outcome. And so the goal isn't to become indifferent towards women. Like, that's not what I'm teaching. I'm not teaching you to be like, forget it. MGTOW. Men go their own way. Ignore women. It's like, no, that's not it at all. It's, the goal is to become indifferent towards outcomes that you cannot change, which is, your rejection, validation, like things that you cannot control. All right. Now, number 2, when you're single, indifference protects you from chasing. What do you mean, right? Well, a man who is that wants to be in a relationship, that is desperate to be in a relationship, can start like accepting behaviors that he should not be accepting. So in other words, he will tolerate being stood up. Like, oh, it's okay. Maybe she was busy. It's like, nah, like, don't settle for that shit. and he might be chasing someone who is not reciprocating the same type of actions, right? He will try to convince her to like him, like things like that. Now, eventually, he's no longer pursuing a woman; he's trying to pursue her approval. Now, on the other hand, healthy indifference, being indifferent in a healthy way, it gives you the ability to walk away from situations. Like I said, that guy's bored. What's up? So, what was I? Okay. You can say, I knew a guy like that. What do you mean? You can say like, look, I like you. I would love to get to know you, but I'm not going to try to sit here and try to convince you to like me if you don't like me. Like, it's all good. It's fine. Now, this is going to be powerful because your self-worth is not dependent on what her answer is. What are we talking about today, boss? Where he was trying so hard to get me to like him. And you can feel that, right? You can feel that desperation. It's like, I need you to like me in order for me to feel good about myself. So it's not so much about making her like he's just trying to win that approval. So anyways, now there's this important distinction. Indifference doesn't mean that you don't pursue. So you can still, ask her out. You can still flirt, express your interests, and you can still be masculine and intentional at the same time without being needy and desperate. So in the beginning, I've always said this too. In the beginning, the man pursues the woman in the very beginning. No, I figured that much. Thank you for clarifying though. But yeah, so now anyways, like in the very, very beginning, the man should pursue the woman. Okay? Like, hey, I find you very attractive. You got beautiful eyes, whatever it may be. I just find you interesting. There's something about you that's glowing. I don't know, it's your eyes, whatever it may be, right? Just say, I don't know, just poop out words, okay? And see if she likes it. Now, if she does like you, great. Because if she finds you attractive, maybe it's your confidence. Maybe it's the way you approached her. You can be like, look, you can even go up to her and be like, yo, I don't even know why I'm here. I'm nervous as shit, okay? I don't do this, but I'm here now. Yeah, I just thought you were interesting. So, I'd love to get to know you. You want to exchange numbers, whatever, right? Whatever. Now, that type of confidence, maybe she might be interested, maybe not. But the man just pursues in the beginning. Now, if she does like you, or she finds you attractive in any way, and you exchange numbers, okay? And you call her out, you ask her to come out, and you set a definite date. A definite date means that you have a time, a place, and a location where you're going to be meeting up. So then there's no like mystery in between. Like, it's a definite date. And so once the guy pursues her, you set a definite date, and then it's your job as a man to see whether or not she is interested. You don't want to be around someone that does not want to be around you. Who cares what they think it's all about? You're funny. You know what? If that works for you, man. But anyways, indifference, okay? The man pursues first. Now, but once you made your interest clear, this is what I'll say. You let her actions tell you what to do next, basically. Her actions would be determined by like, okay, you know what? She is interested. Let's move forward with that. Okay, so you're the guy, you're just trying to create an opportunity for things to happen. Okay, that's your job as a man. You're not there to try to convince her to be your girl. None of that. You just having a good time. From what my coach says, all right? You hang out, you have fun, and then when time is right, you hook up. That's it. Not talk about relationships. As a guy, you don't need to worry about that. If she likes you enough, she's going to bring it up. All right? So, you let her actions determine whether or not you're going to be moving forward with that. So, you want to be someone you want to be where you're celebrated, not where you're being tolerated. And that's the difference between pursuing from a place of desire versus from a place of like chasing out of desperation. Okay. If she's interested, great. If she's not, you're okay. That's it. Now, let's flip the script a little bit though. In a long-term relationship, indifference can kill the spark. Being too indifferent, where you just don't care. You just like, whatever. I don't care. Now, this is where the same indifference that could protect a single man could also destroy a long-term relationship. So it really depends on the stage of the relationship that you're in. Now, like I said, early in the relationship, you're just naturally more curious about each other, right? You want to spend more time. You notice little things about them. That's my cat. You notice little things. You dress up for each other, right? You flirt, you plan dates, you go out, you have fun. But years later, things, some things can happen. And this is where things could go downhill. You stop trying, you stop flirting, you stop dating, you stop being curious about each other, and you stop pursuing each other, in other words. You just kind of like roommates. All right? You become roommates instead of romantic partners. And that is where indifference becomes dangerous in a relationship. You can still love that person, but you stop investing into that relationship. And in other words, you stop choosing her, okay? Or you stop choosing him. Now, this is important. It's an important distinction because love could still remain in that relationship, while attraction, the excitement and the curiosity, it could slowly disappear at the same time. So you can still love somebody, but everything could still be boring as shit. Ain't nobody want to be in a boring ass relationship, right? But you see it time and time again, and a lot of people think that it is common. They think that, we've been together for like 10, 20, 30 years, and it's like, like, it is what it is. Like, it's okay. Like, not really. It's what's that word? Just because it's common doesn't make it right. You know what I'm saying? So you still got to put in effort in a relationship. So like I said, you could still care about someone and still be complacent in a relationship. And that's how most relationships, you will hear a couple saying things like, I love you, but something feels different. Or she might say something like, I just don't feel it anymore. What's another good one that a woman would use? I just don't feel it anymore. I just don't feel like I should be in a relationship. Like things like that. Every day should be as exciting. It's hard. I get it. For me to say don't be complacent in a relationship is not realistic. But what you could do is take an audit. Okay? Just something as simple as, look, within the past 7 days, just the past week, right? What, today's Sunday? Going backwards, Saturday, Fridays, whatever. This is in a relationship. Just going back. If you were to take a self-audit and be like, how was she? Did I listen to her? Did I talk to her? Did I make her feel heard? Did I make her feel understood? Did I do any of that, right? But I'm single and happy as hell the way. So that's just advice from previous relationships. I mean, look, you could be happy in being single, but you know what? I never heard of anybody that would turn down someone that is great, that magically just walks into your life. Like someone amazing, just understands you, you have good chemistry, that person has good character. Like you're not just gonna be like, you know what, I don't even care about him. Like I told myself I wouldn't be in a relationship for a year. Like if he walks in right now, you'll be like, you know what, I might consider it. It really depends on how you feel, right? Especially a woman. Everything is how they feel. Okay. So now for the boys, the man listening, just remember this. Whatever you make a woman feel, that is how she's going to associate with being with you. So if all you do is make her angry, every time she sees you, she's gonna be like, damn, Mitchell is gonna piss me off again, right? But every time, you see her, you have a good time. You're playful, you're flirty, but you're not like needy, you're not touchy, you're not like, invasive. She's gonna be like, damn, I want to be around this person. Like, what is it about this person that makes things fun? You're like the fun bus, okay? You're the fun guy. And she's gonna want to lock you down into a relationship. Eventually, if she likes you enough, you share common interests, right? Things like that. Now, yeah, what was I? So couples, okay, couples be saying, I love you, but something feels different. Or, you were in a long-term relationship, and all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I just don't feel it anymore. I just don't think that I'm in the right place to be in a relationship. Like, those are all nice things that she will say to, lay it down gently on you. In other words, I don't want to be around your ass anymore. You're boring as shit. Or maybe just doing things to turn me off. Now, sometimes something is, sometimes that something is simply that neither person is creating anything new. Okay, that's what it is. If you're not doing anything new, exciting, you're trying to create something fun for each other. Like, eventually, any type of relationship will go down. So, like I said, you got to make sure you date and court her, and you got to make sure she feels heard and understood. If you just did those two things, all right, you watching this, all right, if you just did those two things, she comes home from work, hey babe, how's work? And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. What happened? What's wrong? No, I don't really want to talk about it. Are you hungry? Let's get some food, and then we'll sit down and talk about it. She's gonna want to talk. When she talks, you shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. And then once she's done talking, you ask more questions. What happened next? What did that person do? What did that other person do that caused that to happen, that made you feel this way? Do I need to go down there? What, like, you know what I'm saying, right? She wants to feel connected to you. She wants to feel heard. She needs to feel understood. So once she feels that, and she just vomits all those words out, you're like, okay, yeah, like, don't leave anything out. Tell me more. What else? Like, these are good things to ask. And once you ask those questions and she's finally done talking about it, you're like, okay, like, is there anything else? She's like, no, like, yeah, I feel a lot better just talking about it. This, like, to her, it'll feel nice. And so when her mind opens up a little bit and you're allowing her to express how she feels, and you're just a nice sounding board, you're not a punching bag, but you're just a sounding board. You're like, what else? What happened? And then you take that away. You'd be like, okay, now that she feels good about talking and she just vented everything out, let me create a nice opportunity for something. You know what? It sounds like you had, a pretty rough day. I know what we could do to cheer you up. What is it? I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to have to get dressed. Just follow me. I guarantee you're going to like it. All right. And that's it. Make sure it's something that she will like. I always had one rule that was, please tell me if you're not listening to me so I can save my breath and energy in that moment. Then we can talk later. Absolutely. No one wants to talk to a freaking wall, right? Go work your gut for talk. Look, Bethany, I don't know if that's real or not, but humans are humans, okay? Now, I got one last thing that I want to talk about, and is it Rangers fan? Then I didn't. Then I didn't feel unheard, and he wasn't pretending to listen. Yeah, it's like, put your phone down, listen to me. Well, one way to convey that, Ranger fan, give me a name, okay? I don't want to keep calling you Ranger fan, but anyways, one way to convey that you're listening is when you start asking questions, like, oh, like, what else happened? What did Rebecca do? You know, what did she do? So that's what happened. So she was doing that behind your back, and it's like you're engaging, but you're not provoking her to do something crazy. You just like, hey, look, let's figure this out. And also, guys, if you're watching this, don't try to solve her problem. It's not your job to solve. Women solve problem differently, Lisa. Women solve Hi, Lisa. Women solve problem differently than men. Okay. Men, when we're pissed off, we want to just leave me alone. I have my little man cave. This is my man cave. I'm gonna go do my thing. Don't take it personal. I just need time. I just need some space so I could solve things on my own. Okay. I don't need you to try to. I don't want to talk about it right now. I'll come back to talk to you, just not right now. Women, on the other hand, they need to talk in order to solve things. Have you ever spoken to a woman and you just started asking her a million questions? And then eventually she would just talk in circles, and then somehow something just clicks. And once it clicks, she figures it out herself. And you didn't even have to be like, you know what? I could have told you that a long time ago. What was that? There was what was his name? Anyways, he gave an example of a screw, right? Imagine there's a imaginary screw on her shoulder, okay? It's screwed inside. Anybody that looks at her and be like, yo, there's a screw on your shoulder, like, and you're like, and she's, she's the woman, she's talking about how this is painful, how this is how it began. This is, I was walking through, whatever street, and somehow it's like the guy just like, well, what if it hurts? Why don't you just unscrew it and take it out? And that way you stop hurting as much. For a woman, it's a little bit different. She's like, no, I know the screw is in there. I just need to talk about it right now. And then once I'm done talking about it, she'll be like, oh, you know what? You're right. I should probably take this off. In our version, brainstorming out loud. Exactly. Now, look, it's innate. Did anybody teach you that, Lisa? Did anybody teach you that? Or you just naturally like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to talk. That's why women, they love talking to their girlfriends. Why? Because all they do is talk. They gossip. They love talking, right? Men, we like to solve problems. And so I get it. It's in our nature to try to solve things. But when you're in a relationship, you just got to work your brain a little bit differently. So you got to understand her perspective. So it's different because you got to be going in as the teacher. And you just got to understand it from that perspective, if that makes any sense. It's like, I'm going in to see like how can I solve this problem without solving your problem? You know what I mean? It's innate, right? When you say no, I'm assuming that. So anyways, let me just finish this and then we could talk about that. Okay. We like to fester our problems to make them bigger. Absolutely. So I've also said woman, femininity, feminine energy. Okay. It's chaos. Y'all crazy. You know that. And you're like, sometimes y'all want a man to put you in your place, but it has to be the right guy. Be like, you need to shut up. You just need to shut up right now. That's it. And then she might be like, ooh, can you say that again? Can you tell me to shut the hell up? I want that. Okay. She will want that. Something. Now, don't just be going out there telling women to shut the fuck up. That's not what I'm suggesting. Okay. But feminine energy, it's literally chaotic. It's chaos. They make small problems and they make it into very big problems. And it's our job as men to see those those little problems that went like this and be like, I got it. Just shut up. Okay. Just shh, it's all good. Now, I need to finish this. So if you become indifferent, all right, don't assume immediately that the relationship is over. Okay, it's like don't just jump into conclusions and be like, you know what, it's dead. I don't feel it anymore. It's dead. Okay, and it's always the woman who is the most outspoken and independent. What do you mean by that, though? What do you mean by that, Lisa? That that wants a man to take control. Yeah. Well, it's the most outspoken and independent. I'm assuming that like you're talking about a woman that is very vocal, right? Outspoken and very that could take care of herself. And you know, whether it's financially, she could live on her own, but at the same time, it's like she wants a man that knows how to lead the relationship. Yo, put that dress on. Put that dress on. Be pretty. We're gonna go out. Where are we gonna go? It's one of your favorite spots. Is it this? I'm not telling you. She just told me where I need to go. All right, so now, if you realize, okay, if you realize that, you know, I'm not as excited in the relationship anymore, don't just jump into conclusions and be like, you know what, you know, I'm not excited anymore. I must not love her. I must not care about her. Like, no, stop. Okay, chill. Okay, first ask yourself, well, have I stopped investing into the relationship? Because if you're a guy and you're watching this and she's just not feeling things as much, it's like, well, you're supposed to be the leader in the relationship, not the controlling tyrants, okay? But the leader. You'd be like, hey, maybe we should do this. Yes, that is always in her own control. That wants the man to take control. Yeah, you know, and I feel like that's in the nature, you know? And it could be because maybe she has a lot of roles, especially in a field of like maybe maybe she's a manager, maybe she's some sort of director, and she's constantly giving direction to other people. So when she comes back home, she needs a place to decompress. Because if you think about work and guidance and leading, that's very masculine. Like that's not her natural essence. Most women, their natural essence is more feminine energy. And not to say that they don't have any masculine energy in them. It's just they feel more feminine. And so when a guy comes in, so Lisa, I want to talk about this too, is because when a guy acts like a bitch, when he acts feminine, right? Oh, where do you want to go? Like, where should we eat? Oh, you hungry? Like, you're not taking control. And so what ends up happening when things like that happens is she feels like she has to step into the role to, you know, because life fills voids. And so whatever's missing, which is the masculine energy, because you expected that guy to, you know, lead and stuff, and now he's not. And then so now you have to step into the masculine and be like, I gotta lead now. So then you step in and you're like, fine, let's just do this. But when you do it, you're not exactly happy to do it. Why? Because you want him to be the leader and he wasn't leading. So then you stepped into it to fill in his role, but it puts you out of your natural essence. So now you're more masculine. And it's like, that's not a very calming place to be in, especially if that's supposed to be a place where you feel like home. Yes, always. So anyways, it's, you know, that's why I say, you know, what makes a relationship works is, you know, things in common. You have common interests. But what makes a relationship passionate are things that are different in energy, masculine and feminine energy. So that's what makes that relationship passionate. Okay. Now, where was I? Okay. I'm not excited anymore. I must not love her. That's not true. First, you got to stop. You got to ask yourself, have I stopped investing? Because sometimes the spark, it doesn't disappear because the person became boring. The relationship became boring because you stopped bringing new things into the relationship. You stopped trying new things. You stopped going out. You stopped dating. You stopped courting. That's all exactly right. Look, For anybody that's watching this, I don't know who Lisa or Ranger fan is. I'm just speaking in terms of generality, right? Just being general. In general, okay? And this is like human nature. And that's not me trying to like prove anything. And I'm not trying to be Mr. White Knight. I'm just telling y'all this is what it is, okay? So if you want to be in a happy, healthy relationship, you just have to understand women. And men who understands women are loved by women, okay? She just needs to know if she chooses you and you choose her, that she's the only woman, not anyone else. That's it. No woman wants to be second place. I'm going to tell you that. There's only one place, and it's her, okay? And maybe your mom. You know what I mean. So, now, where was I? Okay. Now, boring relationship, you stop bringing things new to it, so that's why it's boring, okay? Now, if you find yourself in this, stagnant place in a relationship, there, the honeymoon phase is gone, you're not excited to see each other anymore, do some new shit. Do something new with each other, okay? You can start rebuilding that connection again. Start dating each other. Go out. Go out on dates. Don't just be like, let's just turn on Netflix. Let's change it up. Let's go to Hulu, right? Like, no, do something different. Have some fun. Try something different. Go somewhere where y'all haven't been, okay? Try a new restaurant. Take a weekend trip, learn something together. I don't know. Maybe you could teach her something. Maybe she could teach you something, whatever it may be. Now, start pursuing each other again, okay? That's the most important thing. She needs to feel like you care and want her. So you got to flirt with her. You got to compliment her. You got to make sure she feels like you want her. So touch her affectionately, okay? Without expecting, what to happen. You know what I mean? Like, just because, make her feel wanted from her man, which is you. Send her a random message, during the day. Hey, beautiful. Things that she's not used to hearing, right? So it's like, you got to be a little bit spontaneous. Make her feel desired, okay? Not just only appreciated. So, another thing that a guy needs to continue on and work on himself is, and I'm going to tell you as a girl who always said I hate flowers, which I do. I really didn't want flowers every now and then, as confusing as it sounds. Yeah. Maybe you just want that one randomly. I don't want you to ask me. But I think because of that, though, a lot of guys could be like, hey, like, you got to clarify that. You got to clarify that with the man that you're with, right? Hey, babe, I know I told you I don't like flowers and I don't want to keep them. They die. They wilt fast. Sometimes I'm allergic, whatever. But, every now and then, I do appreciate a flower, okay? So maybe once a year. Once a year, okay? Y'all been together for, I don't know, 3 years, right? First year, February. Next year, August. Keeps you on your toe. You don't know where's it coming, right? Next thing you know, Valentine's Day. But Valentine's Day, it would surprise you, but also at the same time, you're probably going to be like, yeah, as expected. Yeah, as expected. Give her a teddy bear. Knowing me, I will bring like a puppy or a kitten home and be like, it's not ours. I'll let her play with a kitten or a puppy and be like, look at what I got you. And then just take it away and bring it back to the shelter. But anyways, you want to make sure, right? As a guy, if you're doing this and you're doing everything right, that's great. But as a man, you have something a little bit more than that, okay? Yes, I didn't make women like this. If you don't like it, you can hate me, but I didn't do this, okay? The man upstairs did it. That being said, if you're doing everything right, you're complimenting her, right? You're taking her out on dates. You're listening to her. You make her feel heard and understood. She feels desired. Okay, you appreciate her. She feels desired. Like everything is good on the books. But if you don't pursue your own goals, okay, you don't challenge yourself as a man. You don't take care of yourself physically, mentally, right? You got to be working towards something. Okay, having your own hobby. If you stop moving forward in life, in other words, and you get set back because you put yourself there in that ditch, and you're complaining about it, she's still gonna leave your ass. Okay, give it 6 months to a year. Usually that's about that time. Yeah, 6 months to a year. You got everything could be great. Maybe you're doing everything right. Then one day, boom, you lost your job. Okay, it's been 3 months. You're still unemployed. Okay. Now she's starting to pay for some of the bills. Okay. Your savings is draining. Now you need her to back you up a little bit. 3 months in, you still got no job. 4 months. Okay. She's getting irritated. She's like, look, are you going to do something about it with your life? Or are you just going to complain and leech off of me because this is very unattractive? Like things like that could happen. Or, maybe I'm not talking about no traumatic injury, you can't walk, like things things that you could control, that obviously if you're not doing anything about it, 6 months to a year is usually when she's like, you know what, I'm out. Because I knew a couple that was like that. I was like, how long has it been? She was like, it's been about 8 months. And I was like, were you over it around 6? If your girl makes a comment about how much she loves that cologne, she wants you to wear it. Absolutely, yeah. So you're the prime definition of a girl, okay, Lisa. So I really appreciate you coming in here and saying all these things. And it's not just because it goes well with what I'm saying. Like I said, we don't know each other. It's probably your first time seeing this, I'm assuming. But yet, things make sense. Why? All right. Now, so like I said, as a guy, you got to be doing things for yourself. You got to be moving forward. You got to pursue something. Be great at one thing or multiple. It doesn't matter. Like just do something with your life. Because the reason why it's so important to have a mission and a purpose is to serve something bigger than yourself that allows you to grow over time without being stagnant. And it's not like you just, oh, I finished this video game. Like the only way you finish your video game is when you're gone. Okay. In life. That's what I'm saying. So that being said, you want something that you could continue to grow in. Moving forward, how to help more people. Yeah, randomly, right? The algorithm's crazy. But yeah, so that's what that's what masculine energy is. It's, breaking through barriers, overcoming challenges, having a purpose, having a mission. That's like things like that. You go for it. Pretty what you trying. I try, but these don't get clicks. I've been doing it for a long time. These don't get clicks. What gets click? You ready for it? All women are the same, right? They only want a man that is 6 feet tall, that has 6 figures, that makes 6 figures, that have a six pack abs. Well, what happens if you're no longer in the height genetic? I'm out. So I hear a lot of guys, they complain about, oh, well, I'm not tall, so I can't get that woman. I'm like, then don't be on dating apps then. If you're going to get filtered. I've never touched a dating app. Never touched a dating app in my life. I don't even know what swipe left and right really, really means, okay? They be like, oh, I swiped left on this person. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm really out of date on that. But that being said, I do know the height filter is a real thing. And so if you set your height at a certain height and she wants 6 feet or at least 5'10" and up, I'm out the game. That's it. So what does it mean? It means I gotta work out there in real life. Okay, I gotta talk to people. Hey, how you doing? Start with that. Talk to people. Most people, most people don't know how to talk to people behind a screen, but they're really, really good on typing. Okay, they're really great on that keyboard. You try to get them to talk, they're awkward as shit. You be like, yo, you good? You need a cup of coffee? Like, they just don't know how to communicate. And I know this is off topic a little bit, but let me share something with you, all right? So today, I had a dentist appointment, just a regular, teeth cleaning, whatever. And I was running late, and I was like, damn, there's no parking. And so I saw a parking spot, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait for this person to leave, and then I'm gonna take that parking spot. Now, my appointment was at like 1:20. It was 1:17. So you could kind of imagine I'm a little antsy at this point. I'm like, and it's, it is what it is. So I'm almost late. I'm running late. I don't want to be late. That person got in the car, sat there for at least 5 minutes. Now I'm late. I'm like, is this person ever going to leave? So finally, that person leaves. 5 minutes later, I'm waiting, pulls back, leaves. And I look and I'm like, that's not a freaking parking spot. It's not a garage, but yet it is, but it's not a parking spot. I was like, all right, you're gonna have to make something happen, Mitchell. Like, you're just gonna have to make something happen. So I look and I was like, okay, I see this gentleman watering his plants. What's up, Bree? So I see this gentleman watering his plants, and I was like, I parked there, and he was like, I rolled up the window, I parked, and I turned off my car, and I got out, and I was like, hey, excuse me, sir. I was like, do you happen to own this part of, this garage looking space over here? I hate when people sit in a car. Yeah, they sat there. Anyways, I'm finally in that spot. I walk out and I'm like, excuse me, sir, like, is this your spot over here? Like, is this your property? I just, I don't want to be invasive. I don't want to just park my car here. But, I was like, I'm running a little late. I just have a dentist appointment. It's a teeth cleaning. I'll be in and out 20 minutes, maybe 30 max. And he was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. If you just, he was like, I'll even watch your car for you. I was like, that's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. I was like, I'm running a little late, but I was like, I'd love to get you a cup of coffee or something once I'm done. All right. He was like, go ahead. And then he was like, don't worry about the coffee, nothing. Right. I was like, I have a char siu bao, those barbecue pork buns. I was like, I have a char siu bao in my car. I was like, I got it. It's hot and fresh. I even have pot stickers. I was like, would you like one? He was like, no, thank you. I was like, so we had a good conversation. In and out, 20, 30 minutes, teeth cleaning. I got out. I saw him again. And, we just started talking. I was like, hey, that was really kind of you. I would have been late. You know me, I don't want to be late to appointments. And that's also my fault too. I shouldn't have scheduled it so tight to my other appointments. But anyways, that was on me. But yeah, I was like, I had to make it happen. My point is, people don't know how to talk to people no more. Okay? They don't. They're like, oh, I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to offend them. How are you offending them when you're just asking them a question? And you're kind. But maybe they take it the wrong way, and you'd be like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it like that. I won't park there anymore. I didn't mean it like that. I don't need that coffee that bad. Like, it's all good. So, yeah, like, go out there, talk to people, make connections, okay? Talk to people. People are people. And I think that's one desire that we are losing in the society, is the way to connect to other people. Connection, okay? Um, and just having this sense of community, and not just online. And so if you could connect with other people, and not just the people that you find attractive or interesting, just anybody. Like if I could talk to anybody, young, old, male, female, whatever it is, like that is your primary goal. It's like to be able to just communicate to anyone about anything. And maybe it might not come out the right way, but at least you try, right? Like obviously there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. And sometimes you can have a streak of bad days, but all you need is that one great day. And so in reality, when people are saying like, it's hard to find a job out there, it's hard to find good people, it's like, well, have you tried? Or they're just park there, not ask, go to your car, get towed, and be like, yeah, and be mad at that guy. It's like, you did it yourself. It's like, you probably, and they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that it's their fault. It's like, if you didn't want vanilla syrup in your coffee, then why do you ask for vanilla syrup? Oh, I meant to ask for caramel, but you said vanilla. Yeah, but I changed my mind. But they can't read your mind. So now you're drinking that vanilla, okay? Life ain't that bad. Suck it up, drink it. That's it. It's all good. So, yeah, I know I've been on a very, very far tangent. I talked about being indifferent. Indifference is helpful, and it also could be very detrimental to a relationship. But it depends on the stage that you're in a relationship, right? So when you're single, indifference towards an outcome, not the person, the outcome, can make you stronger. Why? Because it allows you to not chase and be needy. Oh, for real? Yo, what's up, Jeff? Congratulations. Congratulations. All right. Now, back to this. When you're single, indifference towards an outcome, it makes you strong. It makes you look stronger. Or at least you should. It should come from a genuine place anyways. It should come from a place like, yeah, it's, I like you, but if you don't like me, it's all good. I thought I'd give it a shot. Maybe I didn't put my best foot forward, whatever. Now, when you're in a relationship, in a long-term relationship, whatever it may be, indifference towards your partner, your girlfriend, can slowly kill the relationship, because what you're conveying is, I'm going to do me and not choose you, in other words. So when a lot of guys, they hear relationship advice, they don't really hear. I'm a distract. It's all good. This is fun. I mean, I much prefer people talking anyways. But shit. Now I lost my train of thought. Anyways. Yeah. Yeah, that's the difference. You just got to know what stages you are in a relationship. That is how you could determine. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. So when you're in a relationship and you get advice from these gurus, these guys that like, oh, if she's like this is how you treat her. It's like, you can't take dating advice. I mean, you can, but when you cherry pick, it's never gonna be right, And you might get lucky and be like, that tactic worked, but then it's not gonna apply long term. So in other words, if you're taking dating advice when you're in a long-term relationship, things like, oh, no contact rule. That's a very common one. I hear that a lot. Oh, if she disrespects you, cold shoulder, no contact, don't talk to her. It's like, No, if you do no contact in a relationship, it's 100% going to you're just conveying to her, I don't give a shit about you. I'm not talking to you. On top of that, I'm gonna give you this emotional distress. Okay, this is a good day. This is and Magic the Gathering next week. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. That makes it worse. Yeah, it makes it worse. Like, so that's why you can't take dating advice for long-term relationships. Like, it really, like, it's it's beautiful to see relationships grow through different stages. Who's your bias in, I don't know what those MEOV, I don't know what that is. See, all right. My brain is, I gotta process a few things, but I hope this is helpful for you guys, because as helpful as these tips are, it's very important to understand what stage you are in a relationship, how to approach it. Like, for most people, when you're dating and you're just getting to know someone, what happened? I don't know. And you're just getting to know that person. Your goal is to see whether or not that person, because who wants to be in a relationship where you just being like, you're just being tolerated. You want to go where you're being celebrated. And that's the beauty of things. And so when most guys, they get, they go out there and they get burned, and I get it hurts. You get burned multiple times. You're gonna feel welcome in a community full of men that gets rejected all the time. And that's why your verse makes sense, because you're giving advice for guys who are just started dating and describing how the same advice doesn't work in a long-term relationship. Yeah. And it happened to me before. You got to burn yourself sometimes and understand. You got to learn. Mitchell's advice for some videos apply to long-term too. It's different. The type of advice that I give is not only for the viewers as well, but it definitely puts me in practice mode all the time. So it's constantly making me think about things and trying to see, like, well, what is the philosophy behind why I'm saying the things that I am saying? And, one thing that really stuck to me for a very long time is emotional self-control. I've talked about it a lot. And, that's something that I still, to this day, I'm working on. And one thing that I could always relate back to is, we're all human. I get mad. And when I get mad, I get angry. But what I do know is behind anger is always fear. And so when I am angry at certain things, I'm angry at an outcome that I cannot change. And so the question is, well, what am I afraid of? Because that's why you're angry. You're angry because you're stuck. No one gets angry when there's a solution that is in their favor. So it's like, well, I'm stuck in this situation. I'm angry. Well, in order to find a solution. So the main question is, well, how can I become a better problem solver? Because the goal isn't to say, I don't want any more problems anymore in life, because your problem's only going to get worse. Or not worse, but everybody got problems. If you're rich, you got problems. If you're poor, you got problems. If you're healthy, you got problems. If you're not healthy, you also have problems. So it's like, well, what are some of the things that you could solve? And how competent and how confident can you become to solve a problem. It might not always be 100% in your favor, but at least you don't let that overrule your own emotions. You don't let that ruin your whole day or your week. And you just and that's why, like, I hear all these type of advice, like, you just got to focus on things that you can control. It's like, well, how do I do that? Sometimes it's really approaching it from a space where I feel confident enough, even though this is foreign to me, I could still solve this problem. Like, I am confident enough that I could figure out a way. It might not be the best way to fix it. It might not be the best way to fix it, but it gets solved. And can I improve it next time moving forward? And so I think this is always going to be a journey of mine regardless, and I think that's where I find a lot of beauty is in the process of me progressing, because Bree, you've been watching this for a long time. You other people will probably see it a little bit better than I do. There's certain things where what I've said before versus what I say now is a little bit different, but the philosophy is still the same. You know what I mean? And it's always changing. It's kind of like science, right? It's kind of like science, but there's always going to be room for improvement. And I think that's, like I said, that's that beauty of that. Not a lot of people do this type of stuff, and it's because, we're more people do more to avoid pain than they do to gain pleasure. And so to avoid that pain is much easier to gain that pleasure of, like, wow, if I work towards this every single day and I work towards myself to become a better man, a man that sticks to what he says and what he's going to do, and then work on yourself, like, with integrity, that eventually I'm going to attract one person into my life that will appreciate what I could offer. And if not, there's going to be plenty of people, because the more I work on myself, the more people is going to want, and then you have choice, and then you have abundance, right? Yeah, work in progress. Yeah, it's growth. And that's the beauty of all this, is growth. And, it's I have a problem with the red pills. I don't appreciate what they do and say about other people, not just women. It's just people. I don't appreciate that. But I could see where they're coming from. And Mark Manson, he did one man versus 20 red pill or manosphere guy. Like, that was a really great video. It was very enlightening. I forgot how he said it. Something about packaging and how it's being delivered or something like that. And he's like, just because I can't quote him, but the way he phrased it was really well. And it's because, I guess, to put it in layman's term, people in the red pill, they talk about building yourself and working on yourself, and which is great. The packaging itself, it's great, but how you deliver it, and that's where they start pointing fingers, blaming other people, blaming women, like they only want this, they only want that. It's like, like, oh, all women are on, like, OF. It's like, no, they're not. It's a very small percentage. It's things you see online is completely different than the real world. Okay, not everybody walking down the street have that account. You know what I mean? It's like, I forget the actual, like, statistics, but it's a very small percentage. So, anyways, I thought that was really, really enlightening. I need to watch that again. Actually, I like to watch those debates because they talk a lot about what was that one, body counts. That was a really good one. Bree, if I could find that video for you, I gotta send it to you. And I wish I could remember or at least quote it some way. But I don't want to butcher it too. So good. It was. No, I can't do it. But if I could find it, I'll send it to you because I thought it was amazing. Now I got to rewatch it so I can learn again. I need to be reminded. Um, but hey, Ranger fan Lisa, really appreciate you coming in here, talking. It made this live a lot more fun. Bree, it's always nice to see you in here. Jeff, I don't know if you dipped out or not, but I hope everything goes well. Since you signed the paper and everything. Yeah, and Bree, continue to keep doing what you're doing. All right, with your whole Spotify, you don't want to show your face yet. It's all good. Um, do more lives. Go on like TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Like just go on lives. Get used to being in front of the camera. You know what? You just need to put some nose hair over here, like fake nose hair, and just like embarrass yourself. And if you could get over that, you could get you could get over anything. But yeah, this was fun. I really appreciate it. If you haven't liked or subscribe. I do videos like this or live videos like this once a week. I have a bunch of other videos, so if you ever want, to go back and just be like, damn, I want to hear what Mitchell's saying a lot. Or like, you know what my girl said? She's like, you say anyways a lot, and you say like a lot, and you say right a lot. And I was like, you're right. But this is, yeah, I should probably take a speech class. Do a like a video. Would I fit into the same category of what you're talking about though? Maybe we could do it on like a Discord or is it Discord? I don't know how people record like the videos and talk. No, it makes sense. No, it makes sense. It's more comfortable or real what you're saying things. That's what I thought too, but I'm also like, well, I have many different topics. Lisa, I know it's your first day over here just listening to me, and I really appreciate your time and you spending the time and talking about things as well. Bree just started her own podcast. She's starting, and I congratulate her, and I'm out here trying to help promote her too as well because she's starting something that's not an easy task. I was just going to ask about her. Okay. Yeah, of course. I'm looking forward to seeing her nose hairs. Yeah, just put a nose hair. Put something that someone's gonna be like, yo, what's wrong with your face? And you just keep talking. Just keep talking. Just having a good time. Just have a booger just dangling out. And snot. Just have snot just drooling down. I hope I could crop this out. I might just leave it in there. Just have it drool down. And when you talk, just keep talking and be like, yo, did she just lick her own? Wow, like nothing. Nonchalant. Yeah. And just start eating them chicken nuggets, right? Like fries. Dip the fry. Dip the fry. Oh, it tastes a little saltier. I wonder what it could be. So yeah, as we were talking about the topic, yeah. People will always have something to say though. So it's no matter what, they will always have something to say. You remember last week? Remember how that negative Nancy? He was. I don't know what he said. At some point I just ignored it. Wait, can I do that? Managing. Okay, you know what? Collie. That's my girl right there. She's like, why are you still on this live? I was gonna say, like, absolutely. All right, this is her sign. All right, so here's an interesting thing. That is how she slid into my DMs. She put those eyeballs. Bree, remember I said a woman's favorite pickup line is hi. Women don't need a pickup line. That's hi. That is your pickup line. In other words, eyeballs. That's it. Something as simple as that. I promised her we were gonna watch a movie. I'm picking the movie. I'm gonna pick the movie. Go watch a movie. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you. Thank you. I'll see. Okay. I'm gonna head out now. Okay. I'll see you guys next week. Same time, different topic. We talk about something different. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll figure it out, babe. We'll figure it out. I'll listen to you, but I'm not gonna listen to you. All right. I'll see. I'll see y'all later. Yeah, I'll be back. Sounds great. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, Bree. Take it easy. Yeah, I'll see you next week. All right. Bye.